Royal Jozini started many years ago. The site was actually identified many years ago. They were actually going to put Sun City on the site. And then in 1999, a group of investors identified a potential tourism site on the shores of Lake Jozini. And the development started from there. So from there on, they spoke to His Majesty the King. They did the environmental impact studies. It took them a while, up to about 2005, where the concept was born and they launched the project. And from there on, infrastructure started going, and they put over 60 kilometers of Big 5 electrified game fencing, and there's over 200 kilometers of roads that they put in. They put in a water purification plant. There's over 32 kilometers of water articulation to each site. So a lot of infrastructure was done, and then the project was launched. Then the original developers went out and they sought investors to come and invest. And the original plan was like a Sun City. It was a Big 5 game reserve. They call it Royal Jozini Big 6, the 6 being the tiger fish. As you know, it's the southernmost part where you can actually do tiger fishing, where the tiger fish occur. So there was going to be a 5-star hotel and spa. There was going to be a signature golf course. It was going to be big. It's going to be like Sun City with a casino and everything. And obviously, they were very ambitious, and their plans didn't work out like they wanted to. They got over 100 investors that bought into it, and the motto was live like a king. And it was like that. We're still living like kings there. But the developer ran into financial problems, and he couldn't deliver what he said he was going to deliver. And in 2010, most of the infrastructure was in, all the game was introduced. It was operating as a nature reserve. People were building, I think there were 8 lodges built already. The lodge owners, they formed the Lodge Owners Association. We call it the LOA. The LOA took over from the developer, and the developer exited the project. And then from then on, like I said, we've been living like kings there. It's absolute paradise. It's quiet. There's hardly any crime. There's abundant wildlife. Tiger fishing is great. But that bunch of investors that took over, so the LOA consists of the investors. And the investors then wanted to take this project forward. Now, be able to take this project forward, the LOA needed the head lease to be registered in their name. And it's taken us quite a few years to get all our ducks in a row, tick all the boxes. We had meetings with His Majesty the King, and eventually the lease was approved, and we went out and we said, we just a bunch of investors that's left here. We want to make the King proud. We're not going to build a Sun City. We want the best wildlife estate in Southern Africa, and we've got the potential to do it. And we want to sell another 100 subleases in the state to make this happen. So as I said, all the infrastructure is there. All we needed now is the nice to haves. And the nice to haves are like game, hides, a nice marina with a clubhouse, with a swimming pool, and all that extra nice to haves. And that's where the bunch of investors that took over in about 2012, it's still, the original investors are still there. There's no developer, and it's a non-profit development. So everything that we make in the reserve stays within the reserve and within the investors. So we relaunched Royal Jozini, and we basically open for business now. We've got a registered lease, we've got game permits, and we can now sell subleases to get more investors on board, and there's only a limited number of subleases to be sold. As I say, we don't want to make a profit. Everything we sell, we have to pay His Majesty the King for the lease, and then build on that for extra infrastructure and the nice to haves.